Hello! Those of you joining me who will listen to last week's episode, if you care or not, will be glad to know that we have got over the chicken pox. Woohoo! Finally! It feels like it's been a long haul this month, but I'm clear, my boys are clear, although my son Archie is quite a bit spotty, but crusted over, so he's all good. Everybody was back in school today, and as usual, when things like this happen, we pray to God that the things are going to go smooth for the week ahead, because our life is chaotic. There is always something going on. But this week, I needed everybody to be back in school, back into routine, because I'm about to go into an insanely busy 2 weeks of business where I'm going to be at business events, networking events galore. And one of them is my own. So today's episode is actually going to be about the power of networking, how to build relationships and grow a thriving community, because my second business, the Social Success Circle, woohoo, has finally been launched. It's actually been launched today, the day of recording this podcast, so by the time this goes out, we will be wrapping up the launch of it for this week, but you can come and join us at any time, and I am going to talk about that towards the end of this episode, but very exciting. So this week, as part of Networking Week, I have been hosting a big week-long event where every day this week I am hosting, every day Monday to Friday. Next time I think I might go bigger and do the weekend as well, but I'm hosting a networking event Monday to Friday, so I'm doing 4 of them online, 1 of them in person, and I have roped in 6 other business owners to come and deliver one as well. So it's been a really cool collaboration, and I'm excited because I've already started signing members up to my Social Success Circle membership, and it's just been really fun and a really great collaborative way to do this, and I highly recommend collaboration over competition. And I kind of did this to prove a point, because what happened to me recently was, and it's happened many times before, is that I announced that I was launching this business in the run-up to doing this. Didn't have this on the cards. I was just going to rock up this week and host a few networking events on my own and be like, hey, here's my new business. But instead, I actually... this thing happened to me, and then I changed my mind, and then it propelled me to do this. So truly believe everything has a purpose, and the purpose of this person doing this to me was so that I would do this and we all benefit from it. So what happened is I announced that I was starting this new business, and then one of my friends sent me a message and said that so-and-so, this person in particular, who I will not name, by the way, so please do not ask, because I don't, I'm not in it for people going, oh, Dani said this about so-and-so. No, I'm not in it for that. I don't do drama, and I don't want people coming back to me like, Dani said this. I mean, everything I say is true to what I know anyway, and so from my perspective, this is what happened. My friend sent me a message and said, so-and-so is starting up in Leeds. I was like, oh, great. Maybe we can have a chat and we can help each other. If she's starting up in Leeds, I'm starting up in Leeds, we can work together. Being, the collaborator that I am. And she sent me a link in this message. I clicked on the link, and I had actually been removed from this person's networking group. And what's ironic is the name of this business is actually something to do with empowering women. Yet the moment I announce that I'm running a networking business, I get removed from her group. And when this happened and I clicked on that link and I saw that I'd been removed, I was like, for fuck's sake, not again. Because this has happened to me many times. When I first launched this business, someone who I was connected with through networking kicked me out of their group, wouldn't let me back in, and she directly told me it was because we were in competition with each other. And I was like, but her ideal clients were network marketers. And I was like, but we're not competition. I did not see competition. And I was like, you know what, whatever, I'll let it go. But it's happened to me many, many times. I've been removed from groups. I have been blocked when I've done nothing wrong apart from exist. So if this happens to you, you are not alone. And if you're scared that this is going to be happening to you, then this is not your issue, it's theirs. If people are threatened by you, it's their issue. And actually, when this happened, I decided to host a full week collaborating with people who actually responded to this happening and said, you know what, collaboration over competition. I was like, yeah, let's do something together. And then my own business coach said to me, this is why people do this to me, is because I get amazing ideas like this and they feel threatened by it. And I was like, you know what, she's onto something. She's right. I get amazing ideas, and I do believe people feel threatened by me, which is just ridiculous, because I'm just not in it for competition. So that's a little background story. And it led to networking week this week, and so I thought a great idea for this episode would be actually to talk about networking and give you some tips. So if you hadn't guessed it already, I do truly believe in the power of building relationships and networking to grow a thriving community, because it served me really well in every single business that I've run. So it served me well in my first business, Dani Keepsakes. If you didn't know about that, I used to run a keepsake business. It served me well when I was a creative business coach. It served me well as the Queen of Business Organisation, as the service-based business coach that I am now. And it's going to serve me well in my networking business as well. I'm sure of it. So, and I'm always networking. So I wanted to talk about this with you today. So I want to talk about why it's essential for business growth. And my biggest belief in this is that it's essential because our families are not going to be the best people to advise us when it comes to making business decisions. They're not the people to learn from. As a business owner, as a self-employed person, whether you've got a team or not, or whether you're a limited company, whoever you are, right? It is better to grow your business with like-minded people around you, because the people that are in your family or your best friend or the people at work, if you're still working in an employed job, are not going to be the people that understand. So the best thing for me about networking is that you are surrounding yourself with people who can relate to the challenges that you face. This is the biggest thing for me. But also, it's essential for your growth because, one, you meet new people that get it, like I just said. But two, you learn things that you otherwise possibly wouldn't have learned. You get recommendations of books, of podcasts, of resources, of tech, of tools, of ideas, which is amazing. So you learn a lot. The third thing is, you could meet your next client. You could literally go out for coffee and have at a networking event, have a natter, and sign your next client. It's amazing. And that is why I believe networking is essential for business growth, because it's the starting point of building relationships. Now, there is differences between traditional networking, like going in, pitching to everybody, hi, I'm Dani and I'm a business coach, and selling to everybody afterwards. We don't want that. There is a difference between that, the traditional networking and what people expect, to community building networking. And I'm all for community building networking, and most of the events that I go to are all for community building networking as well. And this is where you come into the event, you introduce yourself, who you are, what you do. We don't do a big pitch fest. We don't. We drop our business cards, we hand them out if people are interested, if it can help people. We have conversations over coffee and we support each other in that moment. And I love this because, like, I pay like £10-12 on average for a networking event. Sometimes I pay 35 quid for one. And what happens there is I learn a lot, as well as being able to connect with people and help them and give free advice. I went to one recently and I met an amazing hypnotherapist. Love her, she's brilliant. And I already have a hypnotherapist. However, I will still go to this person because she actually specialises in hypnotherapy, gastric band, and she's also now, so Christine, shout out to Christine because you are amazing. I love you. I've only known her a few weeks. I mean, I have followed her for a while on social media, but got to know her over the last few weeks and seen her at a couple of events. She's come to my networking event today. And basically, Christine is now a hypnotherapist and therapist, something to do with confidence in sexual, I forgot what she calls it, but it's about sex, right? And it's brilliant. What she's doing is brilliant. I love it, how very different it is, how niche it is, and she talks about it and she makes you just want to scream, yes! And so, yeah, she's amazing. And I met her, and when I met her at a networking event, she said to me, if you come and sit with me, I'll spend 5 minutes, I'm going to hypnotise you so that you can eradicate the problem with your health. And for me, it's chocolate. I love chocolate. And this was about 2.5 weeks ago. She hypnotised me, spent 5 minutes hypnotising me, and in those weeks, like, I used to have chocolate every day. I still do have a bit of chocolate, like biscuits and things, but specifically chocolate bars, plain chocolate bars, love them. But I get the big ones and I can scuff it all in one go. I could have like 3 of them in a day if I really wanted, but I don't. But that was my issue, and she hypnotised me, and in that time, in the last few weeks, I've not really had the craving for it. I've had half of one of those big chocolate bars that I split with my son, which is just mind-blowing. Anyway, the point of the story is, she did that for me, and I says, what can I do for you in return? And I sat and helped her with her flyer and her messaging around selling it, and I'm going to actually collaborate with her further around this gastric band hypnotherapy weight loss. So if you're interested, send me a message, because I'm getting a group of ladies together to do that with her. But it was amazing to exchange the services like that. We just spent 5 minutes helping each other. It was great. So that kind of thing you can get from sitting and connecting with someone and getting to know someone, and it can lead to further opportunities. So this is the difference between networking and building a community. It's actually getting to know the people so that then you actually engage with them. Because if not, Christine probably wouldn't have been coming to my networking event that happened today. Whereas she came to that, and hopefully we'll got something out of it. So it definitely makes a difference. And so the relationships you build impact your business success, because the more relationships you build, I mean, you don't have to build loads and loads and loads, but when you do build those relationships with people, they're going to recommend you, they're going to refer you to other people. You might get ideas for collaborations with them, like me and Christine. I'm going to get together some ladies and we're going to do the gastric band weight loss thing, right? So she's going to get business out of that, I'm going to get a service out of that. So you can think about different unique collaboration opportunities can arise from building relationships and getting to know people. So I want you to think about not just going into networking as a transaction, like, you know, I'm going to go in to sell this thing, I'm going to go in to find my next client. I want you to think about it as a relationship a base for building relationships and getting to know people as people, and not just seeing them as tickets to sales, because that's what we need to change. And I don't believe anyone that's listening to my podcast or anyone that's in my network is like that anyway, but I just want you to be mindful that networking doesn't look like that. The networking events I go to don't look like that. They're just literally like gathering with friends and having coffee, and I love it, and that is how I'm going to run mine as well. So, you know, come and check mine out if you want to. I'll leave a call to action at the end around that, but just saying. So, foundations of authentic networking. So, the importance of intentional networking is actually knowing who you are and why you're connecting with people and how you can help them as well. So this is like a foundation of networking authentically. You need to be intentional when you go into a room. You need to be able to communicate who you are, why you're connecting with people, what you're looking for, who you're wanting to work with as well, because that is like that 2-minute pitch, so to speak, that introduction is going to be the key differentiator from you and any other, like for me, any other business coach, right? I always introduce myself as the Queen of Business Organisation, because I am different to every other business coach. I specifically work around being organised and having strategies and systems in place and creating processes. That is my jam. So people who are in unorganised chaos can know that they can come to me over another business coach that's just going to give them 10,000 things more to do, whereas I will take those 10 things to do and will help you organise it. So yeah, it's really important to speak to who you are and what you do and why you're connecting with people as well. And I want you to think about approaching networking without feeling salesy. You don't have to go in and sell. You can literally just say, this is who I am, this is what I do. Leave your business card for people to get. I've just ordered, they come tomorrow, I've just ordered loads of business cards with one side with this business on, the Queen of Business Organisation, and on the reverse it's going to have Social Success Circle. So wherever I go, I can give this to people. They've got access to both my businesses, and there's a freebie on there as well. So I'm giving a freebie rather than selling something. But I want you to think about going into the room and giving before receiving, so offering value. Don't be afraid of speaking out and saying something that you know is going to help someone. So say, for example, we're sat in a room and it's like someone's like, I'm struggling with social media. I'm a business coach. I can help with that. So I'm going to say, even though it's giving something away for free, don't be afraid to give that free value to give, because you might receive from that further down the line. That person might come and work with you, or they might recommend you, and that person they speak to then does come and work with you. So it all makes a difference. It all has an impact. So definitely give value. Think about building genuine relationships when you do it. So if you haven't kind of picked up on this already, but it's about active listening and making meaningful connections. So think about listening to what people are saying I even write things down sometimes because I'm forgetful. So I write things down so I can come back to my notebook at a later date, and then I can reach out to that person and say, oh, you mentioned this, well, I just wanted to recommend this to help you. So you can then follow up effectively without being pushy. You can again continue to give more value. You don't have to be pushy. You don't have to be straight. In fact, I do recommend get in people's inboxes straight after a networking event and go, you struggle with social media, I can help, come and buy my thing. No, but we can give them a quick easy tip or an idea or something like that. So this is how we start conversations, and you can nurture relationships through engagement and check-ins, because if I give someone a tip, I could then check in a week later and say, how did you get on with that? Did you do it? They might say, oh no, what, Dani, I completely forgot. And I'm like, well, just make sure you do it because it's going to help you. And they're going to appreciate that I reminded them and remembered them. So this is how we can keep those touch points, stay engaged and check in with people. And it doesn't have to be about buy my thing, buy my thing. They'll buy your thing if they see you post about it on social media. Or when the time is right and you do say, you know what, actually, we've been conversing for a while, I do think this will be good for you. But we don't want to do that right off the bat. So we need to build relationships. And I'm not saying build a relationship with the intention to lead into a sale, because it doesn't always have to be a sale. Sometimes it can be a collaboration, or sometimes it can just be a friendship. It really, really has an impact on building your community, on making friends with people, building relationships with people. So you do... That's my little alarm going off if you've not heard it, if you've heard it there, because it's time to pick up my kids from school. But I am just going to round up. I want you to think about networking to build a community. So consistent networking will lead to building a loyal community. So when you leverage social media, such as online groups and communities, or memberships that you're in, you can foster connections in there. I want you to think about what have you got access to that you can use to build relationships, because you can really create a power of building a network and community from other groups. And little shout out to the Social Success Circle, because I can help you in there to build connections and start networking as well. We've got a membership now that is going to be very, very helpful for you. So I just had to pause the podcast to go and pick up my kids from school, because I realised it was more likely going to run over. And I don't know how this is going to go when I put this episode together, so hopefully it'll work out and we shall see. Anyway, previous to this, I was talking about networking to build a community. So, building how to consistently network leads to a loyal community. That's what I was talking about. And leveraging all the different places that you can do that on social media, in communities, groups and memberships that you're in. And I was saying I will tell you about the Social Success Circle. But I want to actually talk about networking strategies that work. So I want to talk about like choosing to network based on your audience. So thinking about your ideal client, like where are they going to be hanging out? So when it comes to networking, there's different ways that you can do it. You can go to actual networking events, which is mostly what I'm talking about, but it's also about who you engage with online. So choosing social media platforms where you can go and engage with your ideal client is a really good idea. I'd recommend having 2 platforms, because these days you pretty much need 2 platforms to stand out. So yeah, 2 platforms so that you can stand out, so that when you are doing your thing and you know showing off your expertise, you're going to get noticed. But you also want to be networking in different circles. So when it comes to networking, don't just go to the same networking events all of the time. I highly recommend, actually, like if you do come into my world, like when you do, I actually direct you to other networking opportunities you can find. I actually have a networking directive, and I have a pack that you get for free that gives you loads of networking support and tips to get you started, to get you off to the best start. So definitely check that out, because basically it's really important that you do get into different circles. First of all, because your favourite networking sessions, you might actually be able to make some months. Like for me, May and September are highly, highly busy months. Mostly because most of the family have had babies birthed in May for some annoying reason. So we have about 10 birthdays from the 22nd of April until the end of May. We've had christenings in May. We've had all sorts in May. So it's quite busy when it gets to like those big birthdays and parties and things like that. Most of them are in one weekend as well. And then in September it's the same. So It's my birthday in September, it's my son's birthday in September 6 days later, and my sister is actually now due a baby the week before my birthday in September. So there's a lot happening in September, plus with back to school as well. It's usually a busy time for people. So in those months, I might not be able to get to my favourite networking sessions like I usually would. So when this happens for you, it's ideal to go and find other communities that you can tap into. And also, I recommend hanging about in, when it comes to building a community, right, you want to go and tap into a network. You want to get known for who you are and what you do in that space for about 3 to 6 months, hang out there, and then it's actually worth finding another network to go and hang out in and get to be known for who you are and what you do, and really get known in that area. Because when you do this, you start to connect with lots of different people. I mean, networking in general, like, they should be growing their platforms, they should be growing their audience, they should be bringing more people into their events. So you're always going to have new people, like, to meet anyway, but it really is worth getting into different networks because you'll get different things at different events as well. So this is just something to be mindful of. And I want to talk about, like, leveraging email marketing to stay connected to people. This is so powerful. So one of the things I do is, like I mentioned, I've got my business cards coming. They actually arrive tomorrow, and there's a freebie on there. The reason I've done this is because I don't want to just sell to people. I want to give them some value first. And I would love to get them onto my email list. One, because I give a lot of value on there, so they're really going to get to see my expertise and what I talk about, what my mission is and stuff, and what my movement is. So I want to leverage email marketing to stay connected to people. So it's really worth thinking about using lead magnets and being strategic about it, because further down the line, that possibly will lead to sales. But this is powerful because if you give away a freebie, someone meets you at a networking event, they get on your email list, and then you send out your regular emails, they might respond. And I get this a lot, and I love it when people respond to my emails because it starts a conversation. So it's just something that you can be mindful of and leverage email marketing to stay connected to people, because then hopefully they're interested and they're going to open up every email that you send to your list. Also, hosting your own networking event, like I am, Networking Week, and running my own networking business, can actually position you as a leader. So if I go back to when I became a business coach, the only reason I became a coach and mentor is because I used to run networking events. Otherwise, this wouldn't have happened. So my journey was, I had a keepsake business that was successful, and the Leeds Mums in Business networking position became available. And I thought, I'm going to apply for it because I really wanted to network. But what was happening was these leaders weren't running consistent events. So I thought I'd take charge. And previous to this, I had tried running my own networking events. But I thought, why not do it and be supported by this amazing company? And so I became a networking leader for Mums in Business Networking. And I run Leeds networking events. And I was really good at it. And I actually positioned myself as a person of interest, as a leader, because I was running these events. I was top of the leaderboard, just saying, for that company quite a lot of the times. I wasn't always number one, but I was doing really well. And I had other people who were also leaders in their area coming to me and asking for tips, which was great. But the community that I built with that network, I was sharing tips with them around business, like I'd come up with to help my business grow. And what happened, it was a lot of it was organisation type stuff, daily method of operation stuff as well. How I was managing, because at the time I was running the business, I was running the networking events, and I was working for the NHS, and I had 3 children. So at the time I had a lot going on, and so everyone was interested in how I was managing it. And I was talking about my goals to leave my job, and everybody was rooting for me. They were following my story really, and they loved seeing my growth, and they were invested in it. And that led to me becoming a business coach and mentor. So it positioned me as a leader, which then led into this business. So hosting your own events can be really, really valuable for you to basically be seen and heard more. Definitely. And actually, if you want to be a networking leader, but you want support while doing it, then give me a shout, because I actually have leadership positions available, because the Social Success Circle is not just about me running my events, but it's about helping you set up your own networking business as well. So if you're in your own area, there's a real lack of networking events and you want to see more networking events, why not take charge and start running them? Get in touch and let's chat about it. But I'm not here to just sell to you. I want you to think about how you can do this, whether you do this through me or on your own. Like, I dipped my toe in at this years and years before I started the Mums in Business networking, and I just created some like morning networking events in Leeds City Centre, in just a free Starbucks meeting room that I could get, and I brought people together, just advertised it on Facebook, and I managed to fill the room. I was pretty good at filling a room. Never done anything like it before. Pretty good at it though. And it went really, really well. However, it knocked my confidence because the people that I brought into that room were quite negative about me. Because at the time, I think this was before I had 3 children. I think I had 1 child. I was about 21, and basically I was just finding my feet with my business. Well, actually I weren't, to be fair. I followed a training thing that told me what you should do is host your own events if you can't get to any. So that's what I did. And when I sat there, I had no confidence. I still can't drive. I am currently learning. And one of the people there, which was another woman actually, turned around and said to me, how can you run a business if you can't even drive? And it really knocked my confidence, because I then had the belief that I'm never going to be able to get anywhere if I don't have a car and I don't drive. And I had no desire to drive at that time. I didn't want to drive. I had no interest in it whatsoever. And it knocked my confidence, because I felt that I couldn't succeed if I didn't drive. Which is insane, because that is far from true. Because I have had high cash income months without being able to drive a car. I still can't drive a car. Well, technically, I'm learning, right? But it just shows, like, the power of having the right people around you. And one of the people there were a few men there that, one of them in particular, I felt very intimidated. Like, he knew what he was doing, what he said was right, and it just, again, knocked my confidence. So at that time, it made me feel a bit uncomfortable at networking, but I'm so glad that I didn't use that experience to put me off, because it could have. But fast forward in 2019, when I attended my first networking event in person, I had no idea where I was going, walked into a room of strangers. I loved it, and I actually met my business bestie, Amy Downs, the content wizard. I met her there, and we have been great friends, and it's been amazing to see each other's journey. But I never would imagine that fast forward a year after that, I would have been running those events, because I was so put off from it. So it just shows that you can have negative experiences, but you've got to try and test out different, and this was my own networking, but you've got to know how to lead, and you've got to be sure of the people you're inviting in, and just be careful with that. So that was my experience of doing that. And then fast forward into 2019, I attended a different event, loved it. A year later, I was running them, but I was running it with other women. Now, in building this business, I'm doing it women and men. It's a very inclusive community, and we're focusing on that. However, what someone says now is not going to hurt me as much, like stuff like was said then, because I've done the mindset work, I've done the personal development, I'm a stronger person, I'm a stronger character. Yeah, it'd be interesting if I was in the room with the same people, which I did not stay connected with those people, if they would say anything similar now, because it's all about the energy you give off and the kind of level of leadership you have, and I've learnt a lot, so that will be interesting. But yeah, I have had negative experience, and they were my own events. Safe to say, my events with Mums in Business International were amazing, and we didn't have any of that. And I truly believe that the ones I'm about to start running, well, I have started running today with a social success circle, are going to be great. So yeah, we don't want anyone being put down or confidence knocked. Not about that. And so I want to actually talk about overcoming those mindset blocks around when it goes to networking, because I get that it can be very scary. I get that putting yourself out there and telling everybody what you do, it can fill you with fear. And I still see it in people that are actually confident about the business, but they go into a room and they kind of shrink up and they want to run and hide. And I get it, because I never used to like speaking to people I didn't know. Doing this used to feel uncomfortable. Now I friggin' love it. I just love talking. Always love talking, but sitting in a room and talking to myself felt insane. But I know there's someone, I know there's you at the other side listening to this, and I know that it's giving you value. So you know, it gets me. I love that. But previous, like years and years ago, I would never have imagined doing this, but I did have to overcome that fear. And I'm sorry to say, but the biggest way to get over the fear of networking is put yourself in that uncomfortable position and push yourself out of your comfort zone and just do it. It really is scary, it is, but to overcome the fear, you need to just do it. However, I know that's not practical advice, so what I would recommend doing is buddying up with someone. And I get, if you're like really in the beginning of your business and you don't have any business friends already, then I get that as well. Like, it might be hard, because I see a lot of people all the time. I've had people attend my book launch and they brought a friend who wasn't even in business, but it just helped them feel a bit more comfortable. So get a friend who actually is wanting to support you, even if they're not in business, and bring them with you, because it just might make you feel a bit better, and they might actually get something out of it as well. So, you know, you're welcome to do that. If you come to any of my events, even if you want to bring a friend that's not in business, you can. I've seen a lot of people do this. So this just helps build your confidence, because you're going into that space with someone that you do know, you like and you trust, and it becomes less scary. You can just relax a bit until eventually you feel like, yeah, you know what, I'm going to do this on my own. So that's the first thing I would say to overcome that fear. The second thing is maybe start with some online networking first. Get on a Zoom room. Sometimes that feels less daunting than being in person and being in other people's energy. So maybe trying an online one can't speak, at first, and then you can go and try an in-person one. Also, you could also attend one and just try doing it for 10 minutes. Like, don't throw yourself in the deep end if you don't have to. Go attend one for 10 minutes, see how it feels. Next time, challenge yourself to do double that time and do 20 minutes. Just do what you need to do to overcome that fear, and recognise that actually it's not as scary as you think it is. And I guarantee you that most networking spaces are going to be quite welcoming, and you'll probably find some business besties in there as well, just like I did. And when it comes to networking, I want you to think about like shifting from a competition mindset to a collaboration mindset. I know that some people walk into a room and they hear someone else who's in the same industry as them, and it can be quite disheartening. Don't see this as competition, see it as collaboration. If I walk in and I see another coach, the first thing I think is, yeah, there might be a lot of business coaches, but each business coach will specifically have their own focus and have their own niche. My business coach is an alignment business coach. She's all about aligned business strategy, but energetics is massively her thing. And then I've had another coach who her thing was specifically working with creative clients. So that was, again, very different. Like, I'm all about business organisation. So we're all very different. So every person that does what you do is not going to do it in the way that you do. So instead of being scared and feeling like it's competition, I want you to shift your mindset and thinking, how can I collaborate with this person? Because you're both going to get so much out of that when you've got the mindset of, actually, we can collaborate. So I'd love you to think about that. Because, yeah, it's going to make a difference. And just remember that confidence doesn't come straight away. It's going to take time to build, and that's okay. But as long as you have clarity on why you're going to these events, what you're doing it for, and who you are and what you do, that's going to make a difference. And just make sure that you show up authentically, really, because you don't want to be anyone else other than yourself. So definitely show up authentically. Yeah, so that's it really. I do want to round up with some actionable tips so that you can start networking today. So the first thing is where to find these opportunities. So there'll be events that are online or in person. So my biggest tip is to head over to Eventbrite and get searching for some in your local area or some online ones. I use Eventbrite, so definitely give it a go. There's other websites like Bookwhen or what's the other one? I can't remember, but there's a few booking events online websites where you can actually go and search and find events, so definitely give them a go. Have a look in online communities, so Facebook groups, for example. There will be loads of Facebook groups for loads of networking groups. You can literally search the keyword business networking and loads of Facebook groups will come up. Check them out, join anyone that resonate, and then see if they've got any events going on, and you might be able to find some. Look into memberships, like see what memberships are out there that you can become a part of to network. So there are some really popular ones, such as Mums in Business, as I've already mentioned, FSB, which is Federation of Small Businesses. They help with so much more than just networking, but definitely check them out as well. I've not actually been to any of them, but I've heard a lot of good stuff about it. Of course, Social Success Circle, my networking events as well. We have a membership, or you can just book as you want, as and when you want to go. LinkedIn, have a look at LinkedIn and see if you can find any networking events on there. Again, keyword research is your friend. And maybe have a look at any local listings or do a Google searching. I'm sure you'll be able to find some in-person networking events quite easily as well. Just keep an eye out for them, do a bit of research, you'll find them. And the best way to find more networking events is when you go to one, ask the people there, do you know of any other great networking events? And guarantee they'll recommend some that you can then go check out, and voila, you've got more. So I'm going to challenge you at the end of this episode. I want to challenge you to go and connect with 3 new people this week and start a conversation. That is networking. So go onto your profile, maybe someone that you've got as a friend that you've not connected with, have a conversation with them. Just give that a go. So that's a little challenge for you today. Now, I did promise I would tell you all about my Social Success Circle. So if you're a business owner who knows the power of connections, but you struggle to find the right networking opportunities, then you want to be in the Social Success Circle membership. Because on the inside, you'll get access to weekly networking events. Yes, weekly networking events. These are online, but there are in-person opportunities, and you get discounts on these in-person opportunities wherever you are in the country or in the world when we are expanding. And you get a supportive community that helps you build real, lasting relationships between those sessions. So it's not just about what happens on the sessions, it's about between the sessions as well, which I'm a huge advocate for in my business coaching and mentoring, but also with networking. So we have a community, the community that cultivates real, lasting relationships as well. Plus, if you're ready to step up, you can even become a networking leader or an affiliate and earn your membership fee back while growing your existing business. So I'd love to invite you to come and join. We do have a special networking rate this week during launch. However, this episode goes out on Sunday, so you're probably only going to have a couple of hours, unfortunately, to get this early bird founding rate, which is $4.99 per month. And once you've locked that price in, you've locked it in. So this is available during networking week this week, so do not wait. Head to the website, which is in the show notes, or if you just go to socialsuccesscircle.co.uk, head to the membership section, and there it is. So you can sign up and start making connections that will grow your business right from today. So you can go get yourself in there, but like I say, when this episode goes out, you'll only have a few hours, because this offer will be ending tonight at midnight. But it's only going to be $14.99 at full price anyway. So if you want to come and network with us, come and get yourself in there. There's going to be so much for you, and I cannot wait to get everybody together and start networking at our weekly networking events and our in-person ones. And we are expanding, so we are looking for leaders to network and host their own events all across the UK, and I do plan to expand further than that in future. So definitely get in touch. I would love to hear from you, and I'd love to welcome you in to our community as well. That's all for today. I know this has been quite a long episode, but I really, really wanted to just basically talk about building real connections and building relationships that have an impact on growing a thriving community for your business, because networking is so powerful. I truly believe in it, and I hope that you're going to feel ready and armed with all the ways that you're going to go and grow your business through networking too. So I'll see you soon, and look out for your next episode, where I'm actually going to be talking about Oh, what have I got coming next week? 10. Oh yeah, 10 lessons from 10 years in business. So that is what I'm going to be talking about next week. So I will see you in that episode, and I hope you'll get lots from that as well. That'll be an interesting one. Bye for now.